Hello and welcome to another episode of Environment Grenada. I'm your host Khadine Francis. For today's episode, we're at Levera Beach in St. Patrick's, and behind me we have Sugarloaf as the backdrop. I have two guests with me today, Kester Charles and Nick Winkler, both of Ocean Spirits in Grenada, and we'll be discussing the preservation and protection of turtles on our island. Kester and Nick, welcome and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, nice being here.
All right, let us start off by finding out about Ocean Spirits, the organization, and both your role as well as Kester's in the organization in Grenada.
I'm the project manager for Ocean Spirits, which effectively means I do the day-to-day running of the organization. Ocean Spirits is dedicated to the conservation of Grenada's environment as a whole, but because we started focusing on sea turtles fairly early on, and it is such a huge issue, the conservation of sea turtles and species in Grenada, they're all either endangered or critically endangered. So that's taken up pretty much all of our work. Early on, Levera became apparent very quickly when we started doing work on sea turtles that Levera was really a major place for leatherbacks, which are critically endangered, and as such is probably consumes the bulk of our work. I mean, we deal with other species and other sea turtle issues, but Levera is really sort of the big one for us.
Kester, what's your role with Ocean Spirits?
Well, my role in Ocean Spirits is actually research supervisor, and this is where I work on the beach, making sure everything goes well with the team on the beach, doing the right things with the turtle, taking up the right information and stuff like that.
Okay. What have you discovered so far? You said, I think Ocean Spirits started in 2000, so it's been about 9 years since you've been in operation. What are some of the main issues and problems that you have discovered from then till now?
Well, we actually started in 1999, so this is actually 10 years, so it's a pretty big milestone for us. But the work at Levera really started in 2000. It became apparent very quickly that Levera plays into what is probably one of the regionally most significant sites in the Caribbean. So compared to, say, the other islands, was ranked probably third most important site in terms of nest numbers. In 2007 we had about 900 nests, in 2008 about 850 nests. On this year we've already broken a record just this week with more than 36 turtles a night, which is up from I think about 26 the year before in any one night. And we're still about 2 weeks away from peak season, so we're probably on track for a very big year in terms of nest numbers.
What do you think is the reason for the increase?
Leatherbacks in the Caribbean and the Atlantic in general are thought to either be stabilizing or improving. The trouble is, because they're such long-lived species, they don't come back every single year. It takes anywhere from 15 to 30 years to really see a population trend. And most of the sea turtle projects in the region have really only reaching that sort of mark in terms of work they're doing. So nobody actually can really tell what's going on. It could just be that when hatchlings were leaving the beach 20 years ago, they had a good year, and we're seeing a reflection of that now. So it could be that next year we get a drop, it could be that it increases. So really what is happening, people are still trying to figure that out throughout the Atlantic.
And what is it about Levera Beach that brings them here? Why is it so popular for them to come here? And are there any other beaches also on the island that they would also go to?
Levera is probably with most of Grenada's hosted leatherback nesting as well as the sea turtle nesting, probably for a couple of thousand years through evolutionary time before people first got to the islands. Levera Beach really remains that one of the last beaches that has all the key characteristics for a nesting beach for leatherbacks. It's an open access beach, so you can see the ocean. It's actually a very particular beach. If you look at it, it actually sticks out in the ocean. Most beaches sort of curve inwards. So it's very active, very open to the ocean. It's very dark, very quiet beach, and that's one of the big things. Lighting is a major issue for sea turtles in terms of orientation and things like that. How they find their way onto the beach, how they find their way around the beach and back away from the beach. So coming up with bright lights and putting a lot of lights at the back of the beach is a big issue. So if you really think of all the characteristics that Levera has, is really one of the few beaches left on the island. And it's probably why it hosts something like 90% of all the nesting for Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Wow. For leatherbacks, yeah.
Kester, let me get you involved here. Tell us about the turtles that Ocean Spirits is trying to preserve and protect. I know we've been mentioning the leatherback. Is that the only species? And if not, can you let us know what else as well?
Ocean Spirit actually involved in conservation of all sea turtle species. Okay. And so far, main focus right now is on leatherback because this is their season. So we focus mainly on leatherbacks at this moment. Later down in the year, come July, we're going to be focusing on the hawksbill, which we go on the offshores to do. Yeah, it's something that we really do at this moment.
Okay, can you tell us some interesting features and facts about the leatherback as well as the hawksbill? For instance, where do the names come from?
Okay, the leatherback actually comes from the name because of its tough leathery skin. So if you feel it, it's got like a soft leathery texture. So that's why it's named after the leatherbacks. But its scientific name actually is called Demosheli. Locally name is called the Kawang. So you might hear people talking about the Kawang locally. That is what they're talking about, the leatherbacks. The hawksbill actually the name comes from that bird, the chicken hawk. Yeah, also because it got a beak of a chicken hawk, so it's named after the hawksbill. Yeah.
What would you say are some interesting facts about either species of turtle that the public probably would know? Something that's fun and a wow factor that people won't know that you would like to tell us about?
The most amazing thing about those species, and especially the leatherbacks, it's one of the largest sea turtles there is. You can get a leatherback in the size of a small engine fishing boat, you know, and
wow.
Yeah, and or let's say maybe a 9 foot in length, you know, which I'm not even, you know. So yeah, and also she's one of the deepest diving sea reptile. You know, she travel halfway around the world in any given year. So there's quite a lot of amazing thing about the leatherbacks, you know. Yeah.
What do they primarily feed on?
The main diet is actually jellyfish.
What has happened? You said basically Ocean Spirits was officially founded in 1999, so 10 years. Well, happy anniversary, right? What are the problems that they're facing in Grenada that needs to be seriously addressed and that the public should be aware of?
Well, all sea turtle species effectively have a range of threats to them that are very similar from place to place. In each local context, what issues take priority will vary. So in Grenada, earlier, maybe about 10 years ago, egg poaching was a really big thing. So poaching of eggs, taking the eggs, it's still an issue for a lot of beaches. So Bathway still sees a lot of poaching, and if you go down the east coast, most of the nesting beaches you'll get regular poaching. It doesn't happen in Levera primarily because we're on the beach every night. We're not here chasing people away, but people know it's wrong, so they don't tend to come and do it.
Factor plays.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to be seen doing it. So egg poaching for the main beach is sort of taking a backdrop in terms of the issues. I would say probably the biggest thing is the potential impact of development, particularly on this habitat. How will residential and sort of hotel development impact the beach through lighting, through construction, through marine structures such as jetties and things like that. Correct. So that because Levera is such an important site, and the trouble is you can't take the beach away from the turtle. You can't separate the two because turtles are linked to this beach. Together. Exactly. So that's probably the big one. Right now, actually, this year we're seeing a really disturbing number of leatherbacks being caught in nets. Some fishermen have actually done the right thing and actually released those. Other fishermen have sort of taken the approach, well, I need some money back for my net, and have slaughtered them. And it's a really difficult situation because if somebody loses a net, that's worth money to them. But at the same time, the law clearly states that these critically endangered species should not be killed or interfered with. So. Bycatch, for some reason this year we've already had 6 or 7 cases throughout the island, which is huge because normally we maybe get 5 a year, and in a space of a month we've had about 6.
Wow,
it is quite significant. It's actually a worrying trend. It could be one or two things. Fishermen may be doing something different with their nets, or because we're experiencing such a huge number of leatherbacks coming in this year, it could just be those two things conflicting. And hopefully with the end of season, so the season is closing. It's actually it'll be today. The season is closed today. Okay. So hopefully that issue with turtles getting caught in turtle nets wouldn't be that much of an issue.
What are the legal ramifications though if fishermen or other persons are caught?
By law there's a 5,000 EC dollar fine or 5-year term in jail, obviously determined through the courts. Okay. But there's the maximum penalties for those sort of issues.
What are the organizations or groups help with the initiatives and objectives of Ocean Spirits? Are there any other ones that kind of partner with you to help the cause?
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the big ones is Division of Fisheries. So all our work is sort of done in collaboration through them. So every time we develop a new research protocol, we go through them and say, hey guys, is this okay to do? Are you happy with that? Right. We ask them what sort of information they're looking to collect as well. And we share that information. So anything we collect at the end of the year it really also belongs to the government and people of Grenada.
Okay.
So it's not an ocean spirits thing per se. We've worked with an organization called Rare to try to develop some turtle watching initiatives in the past. We work regionally with the wider Caribbean Sea Turtle Conservation Network, which we're country coordinator for, and we get funding from different agencies which we work with as of when. And we have a small research program with veterinary students at the university, so they get to come up and spend time on the research teams actually doing the research work and contribute to the program that way.
Okay. Kester, tell me, if different groups